is up, everybody, and welcome back. Today we're going to be going through 5 things that I hate about my Z125, and also going to be talking about another big topic which I'm surprised no one has really talked about, and this isn't really out there because I did not know about this issue until I bought the bike and until I was in a couple like Z125 groups and the community, I guess you have it. So I do want to start off the video by saying I love the bike. I do love my Z125, and some of these things may be a bit nitpicky, but I think they are all solid points at the end of the day. So to start off the video with the first thing I hate about the Z125, and granted this has not been an issue on my particular Z125, but this is the buyer beware, and this has been a huge issue that I've seen in the Z125 like Facebook groups and everything that I'm in. I see people always posting this problem, and that is the ECU issues on the Z125s. Now, what I've seen them mostly on is the 2021 models. I have heard of the issues coming up on the 2018 models, but I've really seen them mostly on the 2021 models. So let's go ahead and get into what ECU issues these are. And first of all, what exactly is the ECU? The ECU is the engine control unit on the bike. So it processes all this data, from my understanding, it processes all this data from fuel management, air supply, ignition, I mean just everything. And what's happening on these bikes, sometimes these brand new bikes, is Kawasaki has issued a recall on these ECUs. So from what I've seen, the majority of people that have this issue, it happens pretty early on, like around 300, maybe 500 miles, sometimes more, sometimes less, I guess. Whether you're riding it or trying to start it, the bike will just kind of die and it will not start. And the bike will throw a code, I believe it was either code 51 or 52, and it's the ECU issue. I don't know if the ECUs are just kind of messing up or completely dying. I don't know exactly what's happening to them, but it's completely making the bike unrideable, which is just absurd for a brand new bike, something like that to happen that early on. It's really crazy and not a good look for Kawasaki. Now, of course, with the recall, you can take it to your local dealership and they'll get you a new one, but the problem is with these current supply issues that we're having all over for all different types of products, they're not really able to get these new stock ECUs to be replaced. For sometimes they'll be able to get them. Sometimes I've seen up to like 2-3 months where these dealerships are out of them, and you're just out of your bike. So like I said, that was, from what I've heard, has been an issue with the 2018 and 2021 models. Now, I do have a 2018. I have over 3,000 miles on my bike right now. Whoop. So I have a 2018, and I have not ran into this issue. My good buddy has a 2018, and it hasn't been an issue for him. So I don't know what percentage of bikes this is happening to. That would be an interesting statistic. But for it to be happening at all is really not a good look for Kawasaki. And that is the buyer be aware, is this ECU issue, because like I said, I did not know about it until I own one of these bikes. And if this happens to you and your dealership can't get it and you're being forced to wait, I mean, you have the option, I guess, to go out and find maybe a used ECU from someone being parted out. Or I've seen some other people say they get the A-Racer ECU, which is, it's like an aftermarket, like $400 to $500 ECU, which people use when they're heavily modding these bikes, like putting big bore kits and all this different type of stuff to custom tune them. So for a stock bike, it's kind of silly to drop something that's $500 on a $3 bike if you don't plan to do all those things to it. So yeah, that's the buyer beware on this video, and the first main issue with for thing I hate about the Z125s. As I said, I've not ran into it with mine, but I just wanted to put it out there. So if anyone watching has ran into that issue, definitely throw in the comments if your dealer made it right for you and how long it took. Did you have to wait, or was it pretty quick? But hopefully Kawasaki already has this issue resolved, or if not, it gets it resolved for the future years, because this is an amazing, super fun little reliable bike, but for something like that to be happening, it just really sucks. So with that out of the way, let's get into the second thing I hate about the Z125. So for the second thing I hate is going to be the knee position. Now, I put this on the 5 things I love video, which I'll link that video in the description for y'all. I put that in the video because I'm right on the borderline for this. I'm about 5'11", and as you can see, my knees kind of fall into these grooves but kind of stick out. So yeah, the second thing I hate is the knee position, and that's going to be an issue for you mainly if you have longer legs, if you're a taller guy. That could really be an issue. I mean, think if you're a little bit of a taller guy, your knees could almost be hitting these bars. So you'll know that right away once you sit on one and test it out. And there is solutions to that issue, like you can get rear sets where it lays your foot a little bit lower. So there is solutions to that issue if you really do want a Z125. It can make it a little bit more comfortable for you. But I've had a few friends that are taller than me, like 6'3", 6'4", sit on the bike, and it really doesn't look like it would quite work for them without some modifications, different bars, and probably changing those rear sets out. So that is going to be the thing I hate, number 2. And like I mentioned, that's probably only something to worry about if you're over 6 feet. Now the third thing I hate about the bike is not really specific to the Z125. It's going to be a bigger issue whether you're on a Grom, any mini bike, a Grom, a Monkey, Z125, really any motorcycle too. And that is going to be not registering stoplights. So you pull up to a stoplight, it's red, and you're just sitting there. It doesn't turn green, it doesn't even know you're there. So that can get kind of annoying having to sit at stoplights. But an interesting law that I learned about, and this is in North Carolina, you probably want to do your homework and double check that this is the case in your state or not. But there's actually a law in North Carolina that if you have been sitting at the light for 3 minutes, you know, you look both ways and run the red light. So I actually didn't know that until a few months ago. I thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah, that's going to be the third thing I hate about the Z125. Even though it's not necessarily specific to the 125, it's going to be an issue really on any mini bike. On to the fourth thing that I hate about the Z125, and that's going to be the headlight. Now don't get me wrong, I have the stock headlight on still, and I still do a ton of night riding, and it gets me by. It's not really necessarily a deal breaker or anything, but they have halogens in these, which are alright. They get the job done, but from my knowledge, all the Groms come with LED lights. I don't know, it's 2021. I think Kawasaki should just have LED headlights in here from stock. They're brighter, they last longer. I think the whitish blue looks a lot cleaner than the yellow halogen light. So yeah, that'll be the fourth thing I hate about the bike is the stock headlight. So if anyone watching the video has replaced the stock headlight with the LED, definitely let me know what you guys use. Maybe link it for me down in the comments. I'd be interested to know because that is a mod that I have been wanting to do. So let me know if you have done that to your bike. Now for the fifth and final issue that I have with these Z125s is an issue with the engine mount bolts coming loose. So I'm actually going to stop here so I can show you where those engine mount bolts are. So if I'm not mistaken here, there's 3 engine mount bolts, one right here, one right there, and one, it's kind of hard to see with this little cover on here, but it's right down there by the chain, and that's the third one right there. And if you watch my Z120 stock Z125 versus the 143 big bore kit video, then you'll know that this issue came up for me just about a week ago. And what happened was the nut on the other side actually just completely came off, and this bolt was just kind of hanging out like out to here and just completely scraping the chain and making an awful noise. And luckily I got it figured out pretty quick and just threw another nut on. It's an easy fix, but it seems to be a really common issue on these bikes. I see it being talked about a lot on the group pages, and not necessarily that the nut's completely coming off and the bolt's coming out, but people will start to complain that the engine vibration will start to be more of an issue, and you'll start to feel more engine vibration at high RPMs. And yeah, it's just a pretty simple fix. Just make sure, I'd say maybe every 1,500 or 1,000 miles, maybe just snug up that bolt and make sure it's all good. The nut on my bolt actually completely came off, and the bolt was just hanging out, and that happened for reference basically right at 3,000 miles. So nothing crazy, but definitely another issue I see a lot on the group pages and forums and whatnot. And if you're interested in the exhaust on my bike, or the levers, or the Fender Eliminator kit to get rid of that ugly long fender that the bikes come stock with. I'll go ahead and link all of those down in the description for y'all. And that's gonna be about to do it for the 5 things I hate about the Z125. Just wanted to put these things out there for anyone that was looking at buying the bike. And this is an amazing bike. I really love the bike. I don't have any plans to sell it. Something about this bike I just really love hopping on and riding it. I definitely recommend the bike. I just wanted to kind of let people know about those little common problems that, as the owner of the bike, I'm aware of, but someone who's looking at buying one might not quite know yet. So be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video or found some good information from the video, and also be sure to subscribe to the channel. We come out with about 3 videos a week, whether it's on the Z125, the Dual Sport, any type of dirt bike, and stuff on 2 wheels content. So appreciate y'all watching, and take it easy.